I don't usually like revisiting places I've already been because there's so many places I want to see, but this was an exception. When a friend invited me on his birthday trip to Mexico, I obviously couldn't say no. Jose turned 30, we're gonna celebrate. And then I decided to tack on a bit of extra time once the celebration was over, maybe even max out the amount of time I can spend in Mexico on a tourist visa. But as the time came closer and I kept seeing articles about Americans gentrifying Mexico City, I had doubts that that was the right thing to do. If I spent too much time there, would I be contributing to gentrification in Mexico City? Would I be making things harder for the people, the inhabitants, the citizens of Mexico City? As someone from San Francisco who has experienced gentrification and who has been essentially priced out of San Francisco, I didn't want to do the same to people in another city. So I decided to stay a little longer, to only stay for a month, just be a little tourist on an extended vacation, and this is how that went. Am I cute?
Oh, we have live music online.
That's too much. So the 7-Eleven here sells soju, first of all, which we should have bought soju, but they also sell onigiri.
You said this was soju. You lied to me?
That's the light version.
Oh, okay, good.
The other, they have like 4 different onigiris, but they all had milk in it. So this is the one we got. We have
chuleta ahumada teriyaki. So it is a pork chop that's smoked, and teriyaki.
Pork chop teriyaki.
But can you guys acknowledge that I'm a good translator and tutor? She's trying to fire me and like look for one, so.
It's called a backup, it's not firing you. Okay, wait, there are instructions for how to open it.
Oh.
You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
Okay, let's see.
You pull down, that's step 1. Like that.
Okay.
Step 2 is here. I'm not quite sure how you get to step 2. And then step 3 is the other side. You almost say. Are you doing it? No, you're doing it wrong.
Let me just go like, oh no.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe pull out. You pull out. After you do that, you pull out. And then it opens up.
I'm doing it wrong.
See? Oh, I think like that. Oh, I think this is all ripped up.
Oh no, you go that way. You go from the inside, and then you go from the inside. You did it wrong. We did it wrong.
Oh, thanks, Serena. Her English and Spanish is terrible.
Both are.
There we go.
Both are bad. No, it's supposed to be closed.
I know. Does your chain or your seaweed hang low?
This
Does it
is
wobble?
bad. Wait, the seaweed is on the outside of the
Yeah, like, look, I even got that.
I did a terrible job. I did really bad. Oh,
look at all the rice. Look at mine. Look. Can we acknowledge there's no rice over here?
It smells interesting. The rice is hard. Anyway, okay. We won't compare this to what Japan has, but the 7-Eleven in Japan sells.
Well, guess what? The United States don't even got this.
We don't, exactly. 7-Eleven sucks.
Cheers.
Salute.
But you're gonna eat it.
No, I am going to. Hold on. It is worth finishing, but maybe it's because it's so late. Mind you, it's like midnight. I don't know.
We got tacos and fucking guacamole in here.
The tacos are next, but the rice is too hard. The rice is
who knows when it was.
So I decided to only stay for a month, and to be honest, I wish I'd stayed longer. When I started sharing my experience on Instagram, I was called a Yankee for the first time. The first time in my life. I didn't know people called Americans Yankees. I don't know why I didn't know that. But yeah, I was called a Yank. I was called a gentrifier by some. But others shared their appreciation for me, sharing a glimpse of the Mexican culture, even though it was a very small glimpse. Not all of Mexico, just Mexico City. And only the things that I could really do within a month. But by being in the city itself, I was able to have conversations about how tourism or extended stays by Americans, or Americans essentially moving to Mexico City, some with the proper visas and some without, was impacting Mexico City citizens. Now, these conversations were with people who were directly benefiting from visitors being in the city, my Airbnb host, and who were young adults renting out a spare room in their apartment, and by tour guides who, you know, I was directly putting money into their pockets, but these were Mexico City citizens too. These are Mexican people too. And so in those conversations, I learned that, yeah, some people are upset. There's a joke that when you're in Roma, you need your passport because everyone is basically speaking English. And, you know, people clarified that doesn't mean that everyone there is Americans. A lot of people from other countries also speak English. And so when you're in a place where that is a common language, even though it should be Spanish, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, you need a passport to visit Roma if you're from Mexico. And that's, I don't want to contribute to that either. I don't know. How do I feel? These conversations I was having with locals that I was able to come in contact with were positive. They appreciated people coming to Mexico who actually wanted to learn about the culture, who were engaging with locals, and who were helping people financially. Like, tourism is a big part of a lot of different countries' financial infrastructure, for lack of a better word. And so to want to get rid of all of that isn't a benefit, you know. But it's about people genuinely wanting to know Mexico and not just coming there because it's cheap. Even though that's what I did. I did both. As I mentioned, coming from a city that has been heavily impacted by gentrification, with increasing rents and home prices and life being outrageously expensive, I understand people's anger. It is a wild experience to witness an outsider coming in and causing this shift that can impact you individually, your family, your community, all because of money. I get it. I do. And I wish I'd stayed longer. I was trying not to say but, because but kind of invalidates what I just said. I still wish I would have stayed a little longer. Another comment I received on my Instagram said that Mexico City is more than just these two neighborhoods, and I believe that they're referencing Roma Norte and La Condesa, which are very popular neighborhoods to visit right now for good reason. They have a lot going on. They're very bougie places, very hipster, very brunchy, convenient areas to live. But I do hope that the next time I visit, I can get a feel for what's outside of those two neighborhoods. I hope that opportunity presents itself, but as I said, revisiting a country is not at the top of my list. That's not to say I'll never go back to Mexico, but hopefully some new countries come in before a third trip to Mexico. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.